What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, guys? How's my followers? Oh my God, it's so nice to see y'all. Anyways, we're on Vlogmas day, I don't even know, one of them days. Anyways, so today is story time. Are we ready for this? Okay, let's get into it. But before we do, make sure you go down to the bottom, like and subscribe, and comment down at the bottom. Let me know how you feel about my videos, or if you want to see anything new. And remember, the title ain't always what you gonna see, so you gotta watch the video. Alright, today's video is story per se. I'm gonna go back to my old job. So I used to work at a place called Griffles, and it was a plasma center. It was cool. It was repetitive every day. The people were pretty irritating because you're seeing the same people all the time. But other than that, it was okay. A lot of the people I loved and got to know, and they were cool, became cool people in my life. I even made some friends. But during the time that I worked there, I just went through a lot. I was going through a lot at home. I was going through a lot personally, inside. I was going through a lot at work. I was doing really good, but I felt like I was getting nowhere. I was getting no raises. It was just like, where are we going from here, you know? So I just really felt like my life was going downhill and wasn't coming back up. My depression kicked in so hard, it wasn't even funny. And I already had postpartum. After my daughter in 2018, I had postpartum pretty bad because I was at home with her and dad had to work a lot, and I was just stressed out. And my son was just not acting right. He was being bad in school. So I had a newborn and a son who was acting out in school, and it was just literally driving me crazy. And I was trying to be there for my man at the same time. I felt like I was just trying to be there for everybody and couldn't be there for me in any type of way. And if I could, I didn't know what to do for me, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't know what I needed, but I knew that something was going wrong with me, and I couldn't figure out what exactly that was going wrong. So I started having these episodes randomly where I'd be looking at the time clock while I'm doing my scrubs, and I had to count to 30 seconds. I would watch the clock and I would zone out. Like, I would notice that while I'm driving, when I'm in front of my kids and they're talking to me, I would be somewhere else a lot. I noticed that first, that I started zoning out, going places in my head and not really being here anymore. And when I'd come to, my heart would be racing. Like, I'd have cold sweats down my back, and I'd feel really odd. Like, this heaviness in my chest and my head would just be so dark and deep. Like, I couldn't explain it to nobody. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I just know that I was just looking at this clock, and now my whole day is just over. It's ruined. It's done for. I just don't even want to be on this earth anymore, you know? That those feelings are starting to come through. So then I'm gonna kind of skip down through it, but then I started driving my car to work. First, I started by having outbursts at home, and I would be yelling and arguing at everybody. Everybody got yelled at. I mean, I was a yellaholic. Like, my poor kids got yelled at so much because I was just so angry and just so tired and frustrated, and I really felt like I had nothing. The things I was going through in my family's house I was living in, I was going through things that your family shouldn't allow you to live in, that you would think that they would be like, you know what, no, let me handle that. Let me not let you and a newborn and a child live in that situation. Even though I know you don't have much, but we got you. We you know, we said we was gonna be working on it anyways, so we're gonna keep our word. Things didn't happen that way, so I ended up becoming more frustrated because I felt trapped and stuck, and I felt used and abused, and I felt like family just had my back to an extent when it came to where it would benefit them in some type of way. But the moment it didn't benefit them too much anymore, or it started becoming costly for them, then that's when the judgment was thrown. What I've done for you got thrown all the way back into your face. Like, it was like, what? Excuse me? Like, you didn't go through this when you was younger? You didn't have a hard time? You know, it's cool. So I went through that quite a bit. My dad was not, for this time in my life, during when I was starting to go through this breakdown, my dad was not available. He was here, but he was going through his own thing. I'd reach out, but he wouldn't reach back. Everything he had to say was despairing and sad, and it just made it worse. It was disgusting to talk to. But I loved my dad, but I just couldn't do it. And my mom, every time I tried to reach out, I'd just hear stories and be like, you know what, it wasn't even purposely. What I do this for? I already knew. So it was like I couldn't get good news anywhere. I couldn't get real support anywhere. And I was forced to live off my boyfriend. You know, at least that's how it felt. I was taking care of myself, but I felt like I was living off my boyfriend, who was getting stressed out because that's not what he asked for. I have a whole family literally right there, and they don't want to do anything, and his family has to do everything. Like, it's not right. Like, y'all just ditch me because I get a man. It's not right. You don't put your family on a man, because what if it got really bad, you know? Like, then what? So, sorry, I had to look at something, but then what would you do? So, yeah, that was the hardest part that I went through there, was trying to get my family to understand that I didn't need you to throw me onto a man, even if he was doing a good job. If I came to you, I came to you because I didn't want to put it all on him. And then yet, you still did it. Forced me to. And that's how I feel my cousin got put in her situation. She was in her situation. She still is, in a way. She's putting herself back in it. But, you know, when our family feels like we got a man, or we had a child by a man, that we just belong to that man, and he's supposed to do everything for us. And that's not how you should do your family, because it's traumatizing. You don't know how that relationship was going, and you don't know if we were doing good or not. And at the time, we were not doing good. And it was one of those really bad rough patches, and I couldn't even come to you guys because you threw it in my face every single time. It was hurtful. To this day, I still can't tell you guys anything because I don't want it to come back, you know, and that sucked. It sucks bad, because to this day, I still feel alone. Like, I don't have you guys, but I have you guys, you know. So yeah, let's get into the story. The real gist of the story. The biggest gist of the story is, one day I was on my way to Griffles, and I was laying in the bed. Well, I was getting ready for work, and I was laying in the bed, and I couldn't move. I just broke down into tears and started sobbing, and I was like, Mara, I can't move. I'm stuck. I feel broken. I can't go to that job again. I can't do it. I can't get up. I can't move. And he was like, go. I'm like, I can't. So he didn't push me. He called and was like, she can't do it. They seemed understanding, you know, and everything, which was great, but it didn't help the anxiety that I felt when I go back to work and they have to pull me in the office and be like, well, we can't keep having this. And we're like, but we support you. Which one is it? You know, because I'm literally pulling all the steps that I'm supposed to do. I was getting all the appointments that I was asked to do. I was calling all the counselors that I was asked to call. I was taking the meds that they were trying to put me on. I tried everything that they were trying to do. I even took extra breaks just to ease my anxiety, anything to help out. Trying teas, trying to eat different, but this stuff wasn't working. I was still feeling desolated and in despair. So, yeah, one day, that day, I didn't go to work. A few days later, another day, I got in my car to go to work. I got to the stoplight, and the strongest feeling came over me. It felt like I was really doing it. Like, it felt so strong, but all I could see was me going through that red light. It was red light at the end of my block in cross traffic, and I could feel my toes itching, my foot itching to just hit that gas pedal and see if I can make it. And it was like, wow, and it was like, if you do it this way, it's not your fault. You could say it was a malfunction if you survive or whatever. Like, all kinds of crazy thoughts are going through my head. And he was like, girl, what the hell? I scared myself. I jumped out my car so quick, and I had my boyfriend literally reverse it back to the house because I was not finna drive. I was scared. And so I got in trouble for that day of not coming in because they didn't understand. I couldn't explain it to them. And then it happened again. I was at work and I was on my way home, and I left early because I had such a severe anxiety attack. My tremors kicked in and I was shaking like this all the way down to my toes. And I couldn't breathe. I was just hyperventilating, and I was driving home. I thought I was calm enough to drive home, and I started heading there, and I'm like, I breathed, and I started hitting the gas pedal. It was a red light. It was on Stony Island, guys, in 95th. We all know from Chicago how busy that street is. That's a 4-lane traffic street. When I felt my car inch forward, I kind of jerked back to reality. Because I don't know where I was. I honestly don't. I don't know why I felt like doing that. I'm sorry if I break into tears, guys. But to relive that feeling was hard. But I started putting my foot on the gas. And then I called my boyfriend. It was like, I just almost did it. And I caught myself at almost the last minute this time. I called my job and I did not go back. I did go back, but at that point I did not go back. I stopped what I was doing. My boyfriend, he took me in the house, and I took a whole day rest. And then the next day I took myself to the hospital. No, I took myself to a counselor, and I started bursting into tears and shaking before I could even get half of my start, like just the introduction to the counselor hour. And then she was like, no, you need to go to the hospital. Like, you're not okay. You're not stable, baby. You're not stable. You need to go. And so I drove myself because it was across the street. So I drove myself to the hospital, and I got to the ER. And from there, they did something I never thought would happen. They locked me up, guys. Yes. I had to go to the crazy hospital for a little while. It was hard. It was scary. I didn't want to go. I cried like a baby. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go in there with crazy people. Like, how dare you? I'm not crazy. I'm just really sad. And they're like, no, we have to protect you from you. You can't even trust yourself. You're having suicidal thoughts, and those thoughts can control you. And so the best thing to do is to save you from yourself. They was like, you need a break from reality. And the only way to get that is to take this vacation. It may not seem like the ideal vacation, but think of it as one. I couldn't. Not at first. Whew. Sorry, guys. Not at first, I couldn't. But then, while I was there, I met a friend. Her name was Tiara. And she brought so much out of me. She was going through it worse than me. Like, this girl was crazy in her own way up in there. And she was a normal person too. But we had no contact with the outside. Like, when we was locked up, we was locked up. Like, baby, I couldn't contact my kids. I couldn't contact my boyfriend. They let him know where I was. They contacted him. I gave him his information. But nobody in my family knew where I was. Nobody tried to call. I was gone for almost a month. No one knew where I was. No one really tried to care. It hurt to know that when I came out, that nobody tried to contact me. Except to tell me that I was a horrible person for not answering the phone for a long time. But little did they know I couldn't answer the phone because I didn't have it. Y'all don't hear from me for a while. It's a reason. I go through a lot. Mentally. I take 9 pills a day to be okay. After coming out of that hospital, I'm beautiful. I may seem normal. I have wonderful kids. I work a wonderful job. But we're human. I'm not perfect. I'm somebody. And that's what my message for today is to let you guys know that nobody has to be perfect, and nobody is. You may seem like the most beautiful girl in the world, but you're the nicest person, but you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through or how hard it was. So just remember that. Don't judge nobody. And always be kind, because people need hugs and smiles every day. You don't know what's going through their mind. Nobody knew what was going through mine. I was just looking at a clock. And that clock was the worst thing I could have ever looked at. So, everybody, stay blessed and be careful out there. If you feel some type of way, go get help. Don't be scared, because I was scared, but it was worth it in the end. When I left the hospital, I was grateful for the experience. I wouldn't never want to go back. But I'm beyond grateful for everything I experienced there. So, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And I will see you guys in my next video. I need to go calm down and drink some of this hot chocolate before I go hit back on the clock. But you guys have a wonderful day and keep watching my videos. Mwah.